Hi everyone, Miss Emma here from the Farm to School program with a very special segment called Pollination Nation. You've got it. Today we are talking all about pollinators, what they do to help us out, and ways that we can help them out. So take a minute to see if you can think of any pollinators that you know. Pollinators are so incredibly important, and especially in the springtime when flowers are coming back and things are starting to grow, they play a really important role in our environment. Some examples of pollinators that we might find are things like bees, butterflies, moths, flies, even spiders can be pollinators, hummingbirds, and in some areas, bats can help be pollinators. Why are pollinators so important? Sometimes when I see bees, I might get a little bit scared, but why is it so important to help them out? Well, you might not know this, but 1 out of every 3 bites of food that we eat was made possible by a pollinator. That's pretty incredible. Without pollinators, we wouldn't have most of the foods that we love. If you've eaten tomatoes, cucumbers, strawberries, or you carved a pumpkin for Halloween, all of those things were made possible by a pollinator. It's time that we say thank you to those pollinators and help them out. So I'm going to show you a really fun activity that you can do at home with materials you probably already have so that you can help out a pollinator and help to support them. So what we are going to be doing today is making pollinator hotels. Now, you might be thinking, why would a pollinator need a hotel? That seems kind of strange. Well, pollinators, just like you and me, they need a place to live. They need a habitat. But the more and more that things like trees and forests get cut down or that new buildings are built, pollinators are losing their habitat. So what we're going to do today is make a little home or house for them that helps to create a new habitat so that they can have a place to live. So what you're going to need for this activity is a container of some sorts. So you can use an old water bottle, an empty milk carton, or even a tin can that you might have laying around the house. So I happen to have a milk carton that was empty, so I washed it out, and this is going to be my container for our pollinator hotel. The other things that you're going to need are the insides of the hotel. So for that, you can use things like sticks, rocks, some paper bag that I've rolled up that I'm going to show you how to do, and even some leaves that you might find from your yard. So the first thing that you're going to do is create an opening in your container so that you can start to put some things inside. So for this part, make sure that you get an adult to help you, but you are going to cut a line to open up your water bottle, your milk carton, or if you have a tin can, you don't have to cut anything. But I already cut it, so I'm just going to show you. I took my milk carton and I cut the top off like this. So really important, make sure you get an adult to help you for this part. The next thing you're going to do is create the insides of your pollinator hotel, your space that a pollinator can come and be safe and have a habitat to hang out in. So what you're going to need for that is some type of paper that you can roll up. What works really well is a paper bag that you might have around the house. Newspaper works well, or some construction paper. So I happen to have a paper bag. So I'm going to take this and I am going to cut out some of my paper bag. This is a really great way that you can recycle something that you might have not needed anymore. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you are going to cut the paper bag to the length that your container is. So this is where my milk carton ends, so I'm going to make my paper bag as long as my milk carton. And there we go. And it doesn't need to be quite this wide, so I'm going to cut this in half. And the next thing that you're going to want is a little bit of tape. So you're going to take your paper bag or your construction paper or your newspaper and you are going to roll it up just like this. So I have my paper bag rolled up, and now I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to put tape on both sides of my paper bag that's all rolled up now, so it holds just like this. And you can see I've made a bunch of these already. The other thing that works really well for creating a pollinator hotel is using something like an empty toilet paper roll or paper towel roll. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your container and you're going to start to fill it up. Now I'm even going to add a couple of rocks in the bottom so that it's going to add a little weight to my pollinator hotel and make sure that it doesn't blow away. So I'm going to add my rocks into the bottom, and then I'm going to start to fill it up with my paper towel rolls and my rolled up paper bag or newspaper or construction paper. Okay everyone, so now my milk carton or my new pollinator hotel is totally full. So you can see the inside now. And what you want to have happen is that if you tip it over, nothing is going to come out. That's how full you want it to be, because otherwise if you put it outside, some of these things might blow away, and that wouldn't be good for our pollinators. So you guys can see in here we have all of these little holes now, all of these places that insects and pollinators can go and hang out in. So what this is especially great for is things like solitary bees. So oftentimes when we think of bees, we imagine them in hives surrounded by a lot of other bees making honey, which those are really important bees and we want to make sure that we support those too. But a lot of bees that we have in our area are actually solitary bees, which means that they don't live in a hive with other bees. They actually live on their own. So solitary bees like places to climb into, like little holes in tree trunks or places buried in leaves. So something like this is perfect for a solitary bee. It keeps them safe and it gives them a habitat or a home to live in. So now that all of my paper towels and my little tubes are all in my pollinator hotel, I'm going to add some sticks and some leaves to it. So adding these things helps to make it seem even more like a habitat or a home for these insects that we are going to help out. So I'm going to put my sticks in, I'm going to get some leaves, and this is really fun for me. I got to go all around my backyard and collect my sticks and my leaves and see what types of things I could find in my backyard. So I noticed lots of flowers coming up, which is great for pollinators. So this is a really good time to make a pollinator hotel as all of our flowers are coming out and our pollinators are returning or waking up from hibernation. So I'm going to add my sticks. Now, the best thing to do with this is to put it by a garden or by flowers, because that's making sure that you are going to give a habitat for a pollinator right by a source of food for them. Okay, I've got my sticks in, I got my leaves, and this is what my pollinator hotel is looking like now. So you have two options here. You can either go and put this out in your yard somewhere. Really importantly though, I would take some rocks so that you can weigh it down, because you don't want this to blow away in the breeze. So I would take some rocks, put some around it and one on top. The other thing that you can do is if you have some string, you can make a couple of holes and hang it up from a tree trunk just like a bird feeder. This is a really great way to make sure that pollinators can find your pollinator hotel. So after you put it out, make sure you keep checking on it, seeing if anything's living in there, and maybe you're going to create a perfect home for a pollinator. So keep tuning in for more Pollination Nation, because we're going to come to you with even more activities that you can do to help out pollinators in your area and say thank you for all of the help that pollinators give to us. So have a great day, everyone.